And I were talking. Eric being one of the more insightful members of our community here.
Yes.
It is true. You also a bit of a film producer and a good actor. I will say I've seen you work in certain movies. You've done a good job. The ones that are fit for an audience to discuss. The other ones, a guy's got to do what he's got to do.
Gotta pay the
Uh,
bill. No,
you
yeah.
gotta pay the bills. I'm kidding, of course. But we
No,
decided,
me, Stallone, and Costner all started that way. Just I wouldn't call it porn, but soft porn certainly.
hey, I think Stallone referred to them as romantic movies, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of feeling, in all of that.
Romance is alive and well, my friend. But one of the things we were doing, we were talking about film nostalgia and how so many of the movies that we grew up on, we loved, but we don't think everyone got it. And some of the people we think didn't get it were the critics. And the critics, in some way, as I remember them in the late 70s, early 80s, into the 90s, were a little bit harsh. Now, I've misremembered some of that, but we have taken a deep dive on some of our favorite movies and went back to see what certain people thought of them in the time capsule, right? In the time allotted. And am I jumping the gun here, Eric? Do you want to do you want to say something
No, no,
about
no.
this
That's
this
exactly what's
scientific process we're engaged in here?
no. All I'll say is welcome to Ethan and Eric at the movies.
Yes, really, really. Well, let's go to the first movie, and obviously we're talking about Siskel and Ebert, both of which we've lost. I think both to cancer.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Siskel was only 53.
I don't know. I don't know, but they were neither of them were old, and they went to relatively close to one another,
Right, right.
and yeah, and Ebert had that tremendous issue with his jaw and everything, and was still going out in public, but it was just yeah, it was
Is Now I met Ebert at a film festival in Charlottesville, Virginia, but isn't it interesting that he went out with something affecting the way he talked, being
yeah.
that's how he made his living as a critic. Let's talk a little bit more about these guys, but we've decided we are going to pick a few films, replay their thoughts on it, and then give you our thoughts. We are going to review the reviewers and remind everyone how right or wrong they actually were at the time. All right. And the first movie out of the gate is one directed by a friend of ours, Nicholas Meyer, who we both love. Good participant in our charity work around here, and that's Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, one of the stronger sequels, I think, to ever hit theaters.
Some people think the strongest. I mean, certainly the strongest in the Star Trek franchise. A lot of people think so.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. More on the movie in a bit, but let's take a minute and see what Siskel and Ebert back in 1982 said about this film.
Landing a starship is your first best destiny. Anything else is a waste of material. Were I to invoke logic, logic clearly dictates that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Or the one. You are my superior officer. You are also my friend. I have been and always shall be yours.
It's the new Star Trek movie called Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. And as with Hanky Panky, I went in with very low expectations because I don't particularly like science fiction. I was never a fan of the Star Trek TV show. And most importantly, I thought the first Star Trek movie was a worthless bore. Not this time, though. The new film is full of rich characterizations, strong emotions, and a story that is entertaining and touching at the end. The new film concerns another venture of the Starship Enterprise going into combat against the evil creature Khaaaan, played by Ricardo Montalban, who is in the process of stealing a secret life-giving process called Genesis. Here's a scene where the Enterprise swings into action with Admiral Kirk and the regular crew in control, with one major addition, a Vulcan woman.
Starfleet operations. Enterprise is clear for departure.
Admiral on the bridge.
Pre-stage flux chiller starboard.
On.
Main stage flux chillers port.
Enabled.
Running lights
Main
on.
stage flux chiller starboard.
Enabled.
Intercooler status.
Stand by.
Space
Very well,
matrix
Mr. Sevick.
restoration coils.
You may clear all moorings.
Crystal.
Aye, sir.
Check.
Air equalization automatic off.
Check.
All moorings are clear,
Shutdown
Captain.
Thank you.
Battery relay well.
Check.
Lieutenant, have you ever piloted a starship out of space dock?
Never, sir.
Take her out, Mr. Savick.
Aye, sir.
For everything, there is a first time, Lieutenant. Don't you agree, Admiral?
Aft thrusters, Mr. Sulu.
Aft thrusters.
Would you like the tranquilizer?
Ahead 1/4 impulse power.
And 1/4 impulse power.
Sort of majestic, and that's really the tone of this picture. The action now gets more fierce as the Enterprise comes under direct attack by the evil Khaaaan, Ricardo Montalban, who claims that Kirk, William Shatner, left him and his family marooned on an island, but Kirk is surprised by the attack.
They knew exactly where to hit us. Who knew where to hit us? And why? One thing is certain. We cannot escape on auxiliary power.
Visual. Sulu, divert all power to phasers.
Too late.
Hang on!
Scotty! What's left? Just the battery, sir. I can have auxiliary power in a few minutes. We don't have a few minutes! Can you give me phaser power? A few shots, sir.
Not enough against their shields.
The hell are they?
Admiral, the commander of the Reliant is signaling. He wishes to discuss terms of our surrender.
Khaaaan is able to put two of Kirk's allies out of commission, but he doesn't kill Kirk, and he doesn't want to, yet.
Kirk. Kirk, you're still alive, my old friend. Still old friend. You managed to kill just about everyone else, but like a poor marksman, you keep missing the target.
Perhaps I no longer need to try.
No! The Curry can't take it!
Khaaaan. Khaaaan, you've got Genesis, but you don't have me. You are going to kill me, Khaaaan. You're going to have to come down here. You're going to have to come down here.
I've done far worse than kill you. I've hurt you. And I wish to go on hurting you. I shall leave you as you left me, as you left her, marooned for all eternity in the center of a dead planet. Buried alive. Buried alive.
What's most entertaining about this movie is its broad and heroic style. You can even hear it in the music there. Personified most by Admiral Kirk, beautifully played by William Shatner. He's relaxed, confident, good-humored, and brave. That's an old-fashioned character with old-fashioned movie hero traits. In a strong film, it also really has those same traits. It's relaxed, it's confident, it's good-humored. I thoroughly enjoyed this film from start to finish.
This is the Star Trek movie they should have made the first
You
time.
better
I
believe
am
it.
a fan of the TV series, and this is the kind of movie I was waiting for. It has the two things Star Trek was always best at ideas and character development.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars, those types of movies are basically action and special effects.
Mm-hmm.
This Star Trek movie has the Genesis idea. It has that really nice relationship between Mr. Spock and Captain Kirk, never developed more fully than in this movie.
Right.
And then Ricardo Montalban.
Surprising.
He gives Star Trek what it needed all along, the two movies anyway, a really colorful, interesting villain. He's the Darth Vader of Star Trek. It's just what they needed.
Yeah, and I like that they went with more standard, low-key special effects, that beam. That beam, and it's amazing. I mean, I don't know how they exactly do that, but it's amazing enough, but it's done of a style of maybe 15, 20 years ago. Amazing. And I just thought that this film was a throwback to a solid kind of entertainment as opposed to a flashy pinball exercise.
When you mention those special effects, don't you always find it amusing that they have the technology to travel between the stars, and yet they can never really knock out another ship?
Yes.
Just a close hit, you know, and there's a lot of smoke, and they're shaking up a little bit.
There's smoke always there, but it hasn't come through anything. You know, that's another problem, too. No hole in the ceiling.
Lots of damage. We'll have to repair the
But
ship, and the next shot, it's always...
Well, lots to agree with there, actually. I love that movie as well, and they were very complimentary, also of the performances.
Yeah, no, they absolutely loved it. And it's funny, I think, this is one of those cases where looking back, the movie's probably even grown in stature since then. And these guys were champions from the beginning. And this is, the professional critic class, probably the most popular critics of their time. And they, it's amazing that they both really loved it. Even Gene, who was saying he's not a science fiction guy, but came out of it thinking it was fantastic. And Roger said and the whole business about it being about ideas and character development, which I think is right.
Yeah, and they're right about the villain, and that was Harv Bennett's angle too when he took it. It's famous. The first time I ever interviewed Nicholas Meyer, oddly enough, was the day Nimoy was announced. It was announced that Nimoy had passed away. Interesting coincidence, but I remember him being very gracious, talking through what would be the first of several conversations we'd have with him. And he said Harv Bennett took over. Gene Roddenberry was put into orbit. They were kind of done with him. Roddenberry was working on a script that he called Star Trek 3 because he thought the series was one. But anyway, Bennett came in and did say something similar, that he needed a villain. And I think Ricardo Montalban delivers. I actually think Shatner's very good in this. And I know people love to make fun of the way Shatner, I know you've got some Shatner stories. We all have them. But I think he's very effective in this. And he is sort of it's a subdued performance, I think, for the most part. Well, that part, of course, as soon as I said subdued, that popped into my head too. And I said, is that the word I want to, use here? But he is pretty relaxed. I mean, Kirk is pretty laid back through most of the movie, I think.
Considering what's going on, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense, and but I've always liked Kirk and Shatner, and and I'll stand up for him. But in this case, it was interesting that Gene really gave huge props to Bill, and not only didn't disparage his acting, praised it.
Yeah, Roddenberry was rumored to have leaked a script. Roddenberry was rumored to have leaked a script on this before production because he was so infuriated with the idea of Spock being killed off, which was the bait to get Nimoy involved. Yeah. Nimoy said, and Nicholas Meyer denies this, that his death scene, the funeral scene where the torpedo gets launched, that Nicholas Meyer directed that in a Sherlock Holmes outfit. Meyer's denied that. And fun fact, in order to help with our work for charity, if you go to our Patreon, we're giving away a signed Wrath of Khan poster signed by director Nicholas Meyer. So you can get in on the action by going over there and donating a couple of dollars to get in and help us with our charity work for children battling NMOSD and pediatric cancer. But back to the issue at hand. I do actually think they make very good points about this, not just because I'm a fan of the movie, but because I think we all agreed after the first movie they needed a villain. They needed a Darth Vader of sorts. Anything that you think they got wrong in this?
Gene and Roger?
Yeah.
I agree with them for the most part. I mean, I'll say just, in things they got right, it was funny with the lead-in that Gene was giving for the first clip, or the second clip, and then when he's talking about the new addition to the crew, the Vulcan. I mean, and then when we see the actual clip and hear it, yeah, it's amazing how much the bridge staff is fawning over Saavik, and rightly so.
Well, they did that the first time around, right? Or attempted to with Parsias Kambata, who would pass away because of cancer. And then they bring in Savick. Meyer said that he wanted to bring Kirstie Alley, the character, back for his undiscovered country, that was going to be the ultimate villain in the conspiracy to unravel the Federation. They couldn't swing it, so they did the new character played by Cottrell, Valeris, I think. But and as we know, this role was swapped out actor-wise. Ali did it the one time. Robin Curtis replaced her for the next two movies, and that is always a challenging position for an actor, to put it mildly, when you replace someone that's kind of on fire. Whether it's Spartacus for Stars or your resident Vulcan advisor. But it is interesting that angle, they did appreciate that angle. They're open about it, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, in say Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, swapping out a female lead.
They did, didn't they?
Hi there, everybody. Voice actor Roger Craig Smith here to talk to you about NMOSD. It can paralyze you, it can blind you, it can even kill you in a matter of minutes, but we are very close to a cure. And with that cure could come a cure for cancer. So please go to the Guthrie Jackson Foundation and donate today. Appreciate it.